Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my review of the brand new Adidas NMD V3. So this shoe is going for 160 bucks. That's pretty expensive. The R1 is going for 150 bucks. We also have an NMD R1 V2, which I didn't even know existed, and then of course we have the I believe this was the R2, right, which is all like prime knit and super nice. So we'll do a little bit of a comparison between all of these NMDs. Remember when the NMDs were super hyped and this was the shoe to get? But Adidas kind of ruined it by making a whole bunch of colorways and making it widely available, which I guess some people don't like, but you know, I guess since everyone was able to get it, I guess that is a good thing. But the hype definitely did die down from the NMDs and also the Ultra Boost. If you guys do want to get it, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description box, but let's get it started off with the Tracciones. And as far as the traction pattern goes, it's very similar, right? So here in the originals, we have more of pretty much the same shape, right? What is this shape? It's kind of a square, but there are some like little edges here, and same thing with the V3, right? So we have that kind of square pattern in the middle of the outsole, and then here on the tips we have more of a solid outsole. It's not a hole. And then here in the heel we have some curved lines. Here on the lateral and medial side of the outsole we have some colored rubber. And one good thing about the V3 is that it definitely does seem a good amount thicker, right? So if you look at the thickness from like kind of this angle, it looks like it's around like twice as thick actually, and that's a good thing because Ultra Boost and NMDs are known for not being very durable, especially with the outsoles. So that definitely is an improvement for the V3 over like the regular R1 and the R2. As far as the traction goes, of course, it's just a casual shoe, so it's not super important, but you don't want to be sliding around everywhere, especially when you're walking on like a hard surface. Like for example, in the mall, there's like tiled floors and it can get slippery sometimes, right? I had no issues with just walking around. It seemed to have pretty good grip. So the traction and the rubber outsole has you covered, and you have the extra durability, like I said. All right, as far as the heel to toe transition goes, it feels very smooth. So I mean, here in the heel, it's a pretty flat shape. The shape of the sole is quite flat here in the heel until it gets to the forefoot, right? But this heel part is very smooth because of the boost. The boost is super soft and there is a good amount of compression, so it's actually very smooth here in the heel. And then here in the forefoot we have a nice curved shape and a lot of flex. So heel to toe transition is super smooth. It's very comfortable. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So of course we got full length boost, and the overall shape of the boost midsole is pretty much exactly the same, right? So the R1, of course, we do have these foam kind of like cages, you know, to cage the boost in the heel and in the forefoot. We don't have that here in the R2, besides I guess here in the heel, which is it's a pretty interesting design. And then here in the V3, they cage it up like crazy. This plastic is quite hard, and yeah, it just comes up to cage the lateral side a lot. Right here in the forefoot, here in the heel, and also on the medial side here in the heel. So as far as the overall cushioning goes, it feels really similar to the R1 and the R2. It's just that there is an insole here. So if you look at the actual R1, there's not really an insole, there's just these holes, right? So that feels a little bit better for step and comfort. As you guys can see here in the V3, we do have an insole. So I mean, me nitpicking, you know, of course, like I had the V3 on one foot and the R1 on the other. The R1 felt lower to the ground just because, of course, it doesn't have an insole, right? When I took out the insole and tried on the V3, they both felt the same as far as court feel goes, right? So there's that, but like as far as the insole goes, the insole sucks. You know, Adidas usually, I don't know what it is with Adidas, but they don't give us good insoles, right? And for step and comfort, it's all right. You know, like I said, I feel like the R1 is a little bit more comfortable just because you do have the holes right here in the strobo board, so that definitely does suck, but it's not that big of a difference. I would say it's a little bit softer here in the R1s and also here in the R2s, right? And then here in the heel, there is a lot of compression, so it's super soft. And then in the forefoot, it definitely does die down because it is very thin actually in the forefoot, so you don't really feel a whole lot of compression. So it's a very similar feel to the R1 cushioning setup, just with an extra insole, which does make the court feel a little worse and also worse step and comfort. All right, moving on to the materials. Also for the materials, in my opinion, I feel like it's a downgrade, right? So on the website, it says that this is a textile, which is pretty interesting. It's more like a synthetic material. It feels more like plasticky, right? But it's extremely thin. It's a little flimsy though, right? As you guys hear that? Yeah, it's a little flimsy, especially since they added $10. You know, it's $10 more expensive than the R1. So as far as the quality goes, I mean, even in the regular R1, this is more of a textile material. There were some NMD R1s with like a mesh material. And of course, we do have the prime knit NMD R1, and also the R2 just came with a prime knit anyway. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, as far as quality goes and comfort, the prime knit is just so much more comfortable. Like, look at that, look how stretchy it is, and you just literally slip it on like a sock. Like all of these NMDs, you just slip it on very easily like a sock, and you're good to go. But here in the V3, first of all, like I said, it's very thin here in the forefoot, right? So that feels pretty nice, but also it's not as soft as the prime knit. And here where kind of like the eyelet start, right here, you can see the stitching, and it feels a little glued down and pretty stiff, right? So when I'm walking, and then like the upper bends a little bit, this part kind of pinches the top of my foot, and it doesn't hurt or anything, it's just kind of annoying. And especially at first, it definitely did break in after a couple of days, but this part you definitely need to break in. Of course, with the prime knit on the other NMDs, you don't even have to do that, right? And also, the tongue is basically made of plastic. Look at that. And it's very, very stiff. So this is very uncomfortable as well. And also the laces suck. You know, the laces, it's like a rope lace, and they become undone very, very easily, just like how normal rope laces do. One good thing about it though is that it is 3M, so it is reflective, which I guess is cool. But yeah, also here in the ankle area, there's really no foam at all. I guess there's no foam at all in the other NMDs either. But it's just like a way stiffer material. For the heel, we have an external heel counter, very similar in design to the regular NMDs, right? You guys can see, look at that. But of course, it is an updated and different design. In my opinion, I feel like the old ones do look better, and even in the R2, it's just like, so it just looks a little bit better, right? And of course, I guess they did keep the pull tab, right, in all of them, which I guess is a staple in the NMD design. Here on the lateral side, we do have the 3 stripes, and then here in the toe box, we do have, I like it. It's like a plastic material, and it's just like glued on there for extra added support, I guess. And here on the medial side, it says NMD with some like lines going across the material. And also, I guess we do have some stitching, which does outline the 3 stripes as well. So yeah, it definitely is a downgrade in my opinion. It's less comfortable, it's a little bit more stiff. And also it's a lot harder to put on, you know? Just like in the R2, you can just literally slip it on, and it's just super convenient and very, very easy. Here in the V3, you can't really do that as much. You know, you have to untie the laces because this material doesn't stretch at all. All of these, they do stretch a good amount, so that definitely is a bummer as well. But one thing that is better, I guess, for some people is that the V3 is a lot more supportive, right? So especially here in the R2, it's super stretchy. Look at that, super stretchy. So your foot moves around like on top of the footbed, and there's not a whole lot of support. So if you're just walking on, it should be fine. But like if you start to like run around a little bit, start jogging or something, it definitely does get annoying, especially in the prime knit versions. I would say it's a little bit better here in the regular kind of like textile material. So I guess it all depends on your preference, but like I said, in my preference, I do like the older versions better. Alright, moving on to the fit. I went true to size and fits me very, very well. You know, my toes pretty much go right to the edge of the shoe. And here in the toe box, it is quite snug. And width-wise, I would say it's around normal to maybe slightly narrow. So it fits me very, very well. If you have a wide foot, I would suggest going up half a size. So it's a very similar fit to all the other NMDs that have come out. Alright, moving on to the weight of the shoe. I feel like the V3 is going to be heavier, right? Or heavier than the R1. So it's 11.25 ounces, which is that's around normal weight, I would say, just for like a casual shoe. Running shoes get really light, especially like Nike shoes. They go to like 8 to 9 ounces. But anyways, 11.25 for the V3. The R1 is it's 8.18 ounces, super light. Let's check the prime knit R1, 8.25 ounces. Let's check the R2. 8.04 ounces. Yeah, so the V3 is definitely heavier. It's probably because of the plastic cage, right? I don't think the materials add that much weight. And now moving on to the aesthetics. I mean, it's all right. I definitely don't like the design of the cage all too much. I do like the older versions better. right? The R1, even the Prime Knit R1, and then like the R2, which didn't have any cage, right? The foam inserts. So tell us what you guys think looks the best down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the V3, they increased the price by $10. They give us kind of crappier materials, but I guess one good thing about the upper is that it is made of 50% recycled materials. So that definitely is a plus on the environment, but as far as quality goes, yeah, the quality definitely is not as good as the Prime Knit and also even like the regular R1s with like the textile or even the mesh materials, right? And also the cushion is a little bit worse, just a tiny bit worse. And also in my opinion, it doesn't look as good. So should you get the V3? I mean, it's still definitely a comfortable shoe, but in my opinion, I would suggest just getting the R1. But anyways, that about concludes my review of the Adidas NMD V3. Again, if you guys do want to cop the R1 or the V3, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.